Rev up your engines!
Orlando, oh, Scotty, what do you think of a 2016 Ford F-150 V6 EcoBoost? It's a good truck, thanks. Well, the truck itself is a very good truck. Ford is very good at making trucks. Now, the V6 EcoBoost, I personally am not a fan of any GDI turbocharged vehicle, because they're going to wear out faster. That's just how it is. There's extra pressure. You got a turbocharger. You got GDI injector spraying in. Things will wear out faster. If I was going to get a Ford F-150 truck, I would get a conventional V8 engine. They want to get better gas mileage ratings and yada, 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 yada. But the V8s are going to last a lot longer. But now let's say you don't put much mileage. If you're buying it and you're putting, 8 or 10,000 miles a year on it, you'd probably be happy with this V6 if you don't mind the way that it runs, because it's going to last quite some time. But if you're the type of person that puts 20, 30,000 miles or more a year on it, I would definitely never get the V6, and I'd get the V8 that's normally aspirated. No turbo and no GDI injection, all that stuff. Just get a normal one. Steve 20, Scotty, many cars have smart key that you can lock and unlock your car. Do you recommend any products that can prevent a signal from being released so nobody can unlock my car while I'm in the office meters away from the car? You can get all kinds of little devices that are sealed that won't let anything come out of them, like a little lead-lined box. You could even do something like wrap your whole fob thing in thick aluminum foil and it won't come up. But here's the kicker. If somebody really is following you around with that smart key and they're, hiding behind a tree or in the same parking lot, they could get your mess. When you unlock and lock the door, they can get that signal, and then it doesn't matter what happens to your key. They don't need your key anymore. They got the signal. They can come in and steal your car. I watched a video the other day and they stole one of those things. Took the guy 30 seconds to steal the car. So, but if you're worried about anybody getting any RFID signals, when you're not using it, you can make a little box and line it with aluminum foil or just get foil and put it on. But still, if you're using it to get in and out of the car, and if anybody's getting that message out. Now, if you're buying a newer car, some of the brand new cars have a system that when you leave the car, you push a button and it smart locks it out so nobody can get in and steal your car. And then when you get in a car, you push another button that turns the system back on. That's the way a lot of the new car manufacturers are starting to go, because people were complaining they're getting their cars stolen. And a lot of cars have that system on it now, the brand new ones. So it's just another thing you got to remember to do. When you lock the car, you got to remember to turn it to the off position so nobody can steal it. These are supposed to be convenience. Keys are real convenient. Stick it in, turn it, open it, start it up. I'm still into keys myself. Really good technology that you don't have to think about anything except keep the key and don't lose it. Sharik 911, I got a 99 Audi A6. The battery died. My dad got a new battery and connected it the wrong way and the fuse burned out. Ran fine for a few days. The alternator kind of whines. Goes to 14 volts when I rev it. I put on a load like the air conditioning, goes to 12 volts. Do you think it's a little problem like the bearing in the alternator, or is the alternator shot? Let's pray it's just your alternator. You hook that backwards, you can destroy the computer system. And on those vehicles, the computer system ultimately charges. It regulates the alternator charging. It could have done all kinds of damage. What I would say is take the alternator off. Take it to a place like AutoZone where they have a machine. Have the alternator load tested by itself. Pray that it fails the test, because if it passed the test, then the computer or the wiring's been damaged in the car. Those things are so particular as Audis, and they're money pits as it is anyways. Battery up backwards, there's so much damage that can be done. So pull the alternator off, take it to like an AutoZone, have them load test it, and pray that's the only thing that's wrong. You're lucky if it is. Toyota Camry lover, I got a 2000 Camry. It has a battery light that comes on. Power windows are slow, but it gets at highway speeds. After about 5 minutes, the light in the dash disappears and my headlights are at full power, not dimming. Generally, that is an alternator. You want to have them load tested. But here is a warning. Anytime you got a charging system problem, the first thing you want to do is disconnect the terminals from the battery, put a battery tester on the naked battery. Test the battery, because if the battery's weak on any modern computerized car, it can create problems down the line, and the only thing wrong is it's the battery. Now, if the battery tests okay, then you put the terminals back on, then you load test the alternator. Fails the test, replace the alternator. But a bad battery, or even corroded or loose battery terminals, or any wires that are loose, can do the same exact thing. So always check the simple things first. Load test the battery, check for loose or corroded terminals all over the place. just to see if, hey, if a wire's not on tight or it's corroded, it'll do the same thing. Alternators aren't cheap. You don't want to change one unless you have to. Always test. Don't just guess. Daddy262. Scotty, I bought a 2010 Altima with a bad transmission. I'm getting a new transmission. Do you think adding an aftermarket transmission cooler helps it last longer? Not really. Modern transmissions are made to run at a certain temperature. And there are some modern ones that actually have heaters to warm them up faster. So they warm up faster. If you actually had your transmission run too cool, it could create more problems. These engineers put a lot of thought into how those things are designed. Now, on the other hand, it's an Altima. It's got those crappy Jatco transmissions, and it probably wouldn't matter how you maintained them. A lot of them are just going to fall apart because they aren't designed and built that well in the first place. I mean, I would have never bought that vehicle, especially with a bad transmission. But if you got it super cheap, and you can get another transmission put in for not too much money, just baby it and see how long it lasts. But putting a cooler in, who knows what actually would affect, because this is engineering stuff. Some of them have to run warmer, and if you did have a cooler and it ran too cool, it could have problems. But I would not just throw a cooler on it. I mean, who knows what the engineering ramifications are of that. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.